Shalom, family. Something, something that I have noticed and experienced, and that the Most High was recently giving me an example of in the scriptures. Um, Sometimes it can be hard to discern the people in your life and um, how the Most High or how the enemy is gaining access to you through the people that you're connected to in some type of way. Sometimes the people that are sent to, sometimes the people who are sent on an assignment to curse you will bless you along the way to trying to curse you. Because you are a son or a daughter of the Most High, they're not able to accomplish the assignment of directly being a curse to you. They have been sent to you for that purpose, and that's the purpose why they've been sent around you. But it becomes confusing to you because something in your spirit discerns it, but all you see them doing is blessing you, right? They're constantly being a blessing to you in some type of way, but you discern something else, and the goal becomes for them to cause you to, the goal is to trip you up in some type of way, to cause you to curse yourself, to cause you to end up in disobedience, to cause you to still stumble without them directly being the cause of it. The Most High brought to my attention the story of dealing with Balaam. When Balak wanted to curse the children of Israel and called upon Balaam to do so, and Balaam was skilled in sorcery, and so but when Balaam came to curse the children of Israel, the Most High would only allow Balaam to bless them. All he could speak was blessings on the children of Israel. He wasn't able to directly speak any curses. And so, but ultimately, because what the assignment that the enemy wanted him, what Balak wanted from him, was to be able to ultimately cause the children of Israel to fall, Balaam taught Balak how to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, so that through that they would be cursed by sinning willfully themselves, by falling into that trap, by stumbling based on the stumbling block that was set in front of them. So what the children of Israel have no conscious knowledge of is the fact that all of this is going on behind their back. In the spirit realm, all this is going on. In the spirit realm, these things are happening. Like when we talk about spiritual warfare, these things that are going on without your knowledge, these conversations between Balaam and Balak, this plotting, these different things that are happening, it didn't come to them as a direct attack. It never came to them as a direct attack. They weren't able to directly attack them, the children of Israel, but they were able to manipulate them by placing this stumbling block in front of them. They caused them to, based on their own shortcomings, their own weaknesses, their own hearts, their own, spiritual condition, they were able to, they caused themselves to fall. It caused themselves to fall into that place of curse, caused themselves to do that. So without ever being conscious of all this plotting that was going on, without their knowledge. And that's how we deal with spiritual attacks. A lot of times there's a lot of things going on without our knowledge in the spirit, and they manifest in the natural amongst people. Sometimes people have intentions towards you that they're not even conscious of having, that they don't even know that they've been sent on an assignment, because there's something in them, that even though there's something in them that the enemy knows that he's going to use to come against you, based on their, their spiritual condition, their weaknesses, their shortcomings, or whatever the case may be. The enemy's going to try to use that in this person to trip you up, but the person's not aware of it, and they constantly are being a blessing to you, not realizing that they're places where they're open to the enemy is where the enemy's going to slip in and try to trip you up. So we have to have discernment to be able to see things like that, we have to have guard over our heart and our mind and our spirit, and know what's going on with us, and be able to keep ourselves in a place before the Most High where there's no guile found within us that will cause us to fall prey to these stumbling blocks, right? And then we have to have discernment to be able to see what the enemy may be doing, or see what spirit is operating behind the people in our lives, even those who appear to be a blessing to us, or who are a blessing to us directly and in the natural. But that same person that can be a blessing to you, the enemy can use their shortcomings to come and place a stumbling block before you, to cause you, based on your weaknesses, to trip you up and get you to put yourself in a out of position with the Most High. The spiritual warfare 2.0. They say that old saying, different levels, different devils. There's direct things that we able to discern and see, but then there's that next level of thing that we have to have another place of discernment to be able to, truly know what's going on, truly see, and then trust it. Because I know personally, a lot of times I see things, I discern things, but it'd be so discreet, or so subtle, so intricate, that I will dismiss it, or I'll doubt it, and it'll always be to my detriment. Because the Most High's trying to show me, even though it may seem like, nah, that can't be true, that can't be what's going on. My mind would just tell me, hey, you're just being paranoid, you're just being extra. But without fail, trust the discernment that the Most High gives you, and properly discern. And it's not to make villains out of everybody, or, like I said, to be suspicious of everything, or paranoid, or all those type of things, but just to see. A lot of times it's not the direct person, it's just that they have some type of open door where the enemy's able to use them. And we all have those things about us. We all have something area in us that may be a weakness or a struggle, or something that the door is not completely glued shut, where the enemy can slip in there and cause us to cause somebody else to stumble in some type of way. So we have to just be conscious of that and discern that. Yahusha said that he didn't entrust himself to any man, because he knew the hearts of man. So, we have to have that same mindset. We don't entrust ourselves to such a degree that we don't use discernment, and know that even though Peter is one of your closest to you, and the one that's going to be the most faithful down the line and loyal to the word of Yah, even though that's the case, you got to know when you have to turn to him and say, get thee behind me, Hashatan, because you don't have the things of Yah in mind. You got to be able to flip that switch at times, whether directly or in the spirit, in the Ruach, to know that we all are susceptible, so you gotta have loyalty to the word of Yah, above loyalty to man, and be able to discern on a higher level, and trust what you discern, and not and seek the Most High on how to respond to what it is that you're discerning, and not just going ham, not just going, crazy, not pointing the fingers or accusing people, or any of those type of things, but just seeing things for what they are, and so that you can respond in a way that keeps you in righteousness, and respond in a way that keeps you from stumbling, and continue to walk in love, continue to, because that doesn't make people your complete enemy. It just means that, there's an area in them that you have to guard against, We can't run from each other. Just, um, so we just have to pray and know how to navigate spiritually and in the natural through this life. So I wanted to share that. And remember, I want to reiterate once again, the goal is not for you to go out looking at others and trying to figure out, you know, what's going on with other people, but to keep guard over your own heart, your own mind, your own spirit, so that you know what your weaknesses are. And when these things happen, what the Most High's intention is for you to become more conscious of your own areas where you need to tighten up, your own areas where you need to shut the door, your own areas of weakness that the enemy can use against you. So it's not for you to try to demonize other people or point the finger at other people, but to realize within yourself, okay, this is showing me that I'm weak in this area. This is showing me that I need to make some different decisions in how I manage myself in this area. To show me that I need to submit this area to the Most High in a greater way. So that's what these things. That's why it is allowed, because it's sharpening you, and it's helping to prune those things from you that are in the way, things that are keeping you from walking in another level of righteousness. And so that's the focus. I just want to reiterate that the focus is not, we have a tendency to focus on others, the other person, when the Most High, whenever he allows something to come close to our tent like that, is to show us what's in our hearts and what he's trying to get in us. So the Most High uses all things for our good. So anything that the enemy intends against a child of the Most High, if the Most High allows it to come anywhere near our camp, he's trying to refine us. So allow what I'm sharing here to open your eyes. So when you see these things, there's times when there's just an enemy around you that you need to get away from you. Yes, there are times when there's a clear just enemy that you just need to get away from your camp. You need to flee from. And there's some who are not an enemy, but because based on your level of struggle with something, you may have to separate yourself for a season because of where you're at. But there's times when there are those who we're called to walk with, but as we're walking together, there's areas of refinement that need to happen, and until that happens, the enemy can take advantage of those weaknesses and openings, and we have to not allow that to happen. We have to be aware of it so that we can be refined, and even that the other person, if you have that level of relationship with the other person, can also be refined. So I just wanted to reiterate that part there, because we have this tendency to be quick to point the finger but not to see ourselves. So just wanted to add that in there, and shalom.